I'm in the Ozarks of Missouri this week to meet up with some friendly people who trap and fish and cook things you've probably never eaten before. So fair warning, so your pork's okay, but your beaver needs to be thoroughly cooked.
I'm Scott Lasaf, hunter, fisherman, and professional chef. If you can catch it, trap it, or shoot it, I can cook it. And I've cooked it all. Or so I thought. This is my journey to hunt down and cook the wild, weird, and hopefully edible. Look out, critters, you're about to become dead meat.
I'm heading to Missouri. It's the state known for the Big Arch, home of Mark Twain, the Mississippi, and Missouri River. But I'm here because Missouri has a deep, dark culinary secret. People around here like to eat beaver. So I've hooked up with some folks who are going to show me how to trap my much-anticipated dinner. This is Greg Long, known as Trapper Greg, for obvious reasons. He's a professional bull rider.
Yeehaw!
And trapper. Greg's taken me on the Gasconade River where he's trapped for years. So man, where are we and what are we doing?
We're down here in Pulaski County, Missouri, and we're doing some beaver trapping.
You've been doing this for a while?
Since I was 13 and I'm 40.
Wow. It's a lot of beaver.
It is. I caught about 45 to 50 last year.
Wow. And are the beaver, are they causing any damage here, or you just like trapping and eating beaver? And you sell the pelts, I guess, right?
Sell the pelts.
What's the pelt worth?
Small ones are going for about $15. You can get up to about 45 for a good size one.
And you eat these things?
I do.
You know, most people don't eat this. You know that, don't you?
Right.
That looks like a little beaver.
He's only probably about 20, 25 pounds.
How old would that beaver be?
He's probably a 2-year-old.
Right. They're better eating when they're younger? I mean, like any other animal?
Pretty much,
I would think, yeah.
We'll get up here and I'll get out of the boat and we'll get him out of the trap and get it reset.
Oh, he's bigger than I thought, I guess. You said that's a smallish, though?
Oh. Yeah, he's not too big. He's probably 32, 33 pounds. Okay.
You wouldn't want to get your hand in there, would you?
Not a bit. The biggest beaver I've ever caught was 58 pounds, but some of my buddies just caught him a little over 60.
Well, I mean, what does a beaver eat, other than the obvious?
They're just vegetarians. They eat the bark off the branches like this. They'll chew them and eat the bark off, and that's how it's pretty easy to spot where they're at. You'll see them, and that's a feed bed where they cut it and stack it before the winter time, so if the water freezes over, they got somewhere to eat.
Right. And I'm assuming that this river, the banks of these rivers, got to be covered with them.
Yeah. That's what we're gonna skin and cook tonight.
Love it. Oh, we got meat.
There's no doubt.
How many pounds of meat you get off an average sized beaver like that?
Honestly, not a whole lot. They'll, the back legs will have some big chunks and the front legs, but
is there any backstrap to it at all?
a little bit, yeah. It's about 1 inch wide.
The beaver is the world's second largest rodent. They have a pair of glands located at the base of their tail called castor glands that secrete a strong, musky odor that they use to mark their territory and help keep them afloat. Trying not to overstate the obvious, they've got some big teeth, strong jaws, and they'll bite your fingers off if you're stupid enough to stick them into a live beaver's mouth. That's a beaver. You know, they're not real pretty, but you know, they're good. And this is our nation's heritage. We were raised on trapping beaver. My dad was an Alabama farm boy. I'm pretty sure he did the same thing that we're doing here. I can't wait to eat it. I have eaten beaver, but it's been a long, long time. I'm kind of anxious to see how we do it here in Missouri. I'm gonna go back for more with Trapper Greg. Then we'll cut them up, but there's a way you have to cook them if you don't want to get sick.
Yeah, you'll be in the hospital.
And later on...
One question.
Yes, sir.
Which part of the beaver did you like the best?
So, I've been trapping beavers in Missouri, and I gotta tell you, they're freaking awesome. Oh, sure, they look like big, stiff, wet-blooded creatures, but looks can be deceiving. I've been told that beaver meat is some of the best around, but I've also been told that python tastes good, and it doesn't.
As usual, I'm doing all the hard work. I want to hop in. Don't get me wrong, I just didn't bring my waders. And I don't want to break my arm. Little guy.
This is a yearling, but
That's the one I want to eat right there.
exactly, this is going to be the best eaten one.
Uh-huh.
But whenever you're trapping with the kill trap, they're not prejudiced.
It's not like, yeah, you can discriminate there. Huh?
Exactly. They just do their job no matter what the size of the animal.
What is there on that little guy?
This one's definitely going to be really good to eat. Are you ready to go pull the...
Yeah, my heart's beating like a rabbit. I've been working hard here.
I know, I seen that.
I hope it's fine. A couple of these guys. Got good.
Yep, that's
Gnawed on
that's
here, didn't he?
one of them where he got chewed on by another beaver. So that's probably a male.
Should we be seeing suckers in here?
We will be.
I'm all about beaver right now, but I can't help thinking about the bottom feeders that I get to haul up a bit later.
And do you not gig during the day because they're spooky?
Well,
they
you
just-
just can't hardly see them in the daytime because, and they move a lot more. And at nighttime, with the lights, it's more focused and you can see them really well and see a lot deeper in the water.
We got a boat full of beaver, and now we're heading in to get them ready for the cooking part.
All right, so we got a beaver. Is there more than one way to skin a beaver?
If you're going to sell the fur, I'm going to do it the way that the fur buyers want it. So that's the way we're going to take the fur off of this one.
I see we've selected the smallest.
We
beaver.
did. We're going to make this an easy job.
All right, let's go.
All right. First thing I'm going to do is cut the feet off and the tail.
You cut off the feet
And the front legs are easy. You can just twist them and they'll come right off.
and the tail.
You eat the tail part.
Correct.
I'm intrigued.
Split it up the middle to the base of the head,
It's like anything else, huh?
Exactly.
being careful not to cut into the guts.
Go all the way to the tip of the chin.
Now I know what you're thinking. That looks mighty tasty.
Here's the meat. Front shoulder, hind quarter, back strap, a little bit of tail meat. And then on that tail that you discarded,
Yes.
what do you do with this?
There's some meat on the inside of it, down each side, and
Right?
he's going to prepare that for you.
Matt's gonna cook it.
This is Matt Blackburn. He's a retired insurance executive and well-traveled businessman. See, you shouldn't judge people by their looks, and that goes for me too.
So Matt, you're the beaver cooker.
Yep.
What you got there looks like a couple of back straps.
These are the back straps that we just took off a beaver, and I was just going to show them how to get the silver off of it.
Okay, step one, what do you do?
Well, just flip it over here and take a fillet knife and just press down,
You want to get that silver skin.
get that silver
fascia
off of it,
Uh-huh.
right there.
And when I was talking to Greg, I talked about throwing a piece of beaver quarter, wherever it is, throw a piece of beaver on the grill and cooking it to medium. And you told me cooking beaver medium is a bad idea. How come?
Yeah, you'll be in the hospital. Trichinosis, they're full of parasites. So you want to always cook it well.
Good idea. That's good.
It is.
So you've been in the hospital.
I have. I was in the hospital in the late 70s with trichinosis from a beaver.
I'm a beaver.
Yeah.
So what about cross-contamination, that kind of thing with the cutting surfaces? Clean your knives, do all those
Yep.
things.
Keep your hands out of your mouth when you're handling it, or any open sores.
Be careful when you're drinking a beer.
And that part right there, we just take, you know, I don't have a tenderizer, I'm just going to use the back of this knife.
A tender beaver is easier to eat than a tough one. It's the usual. Dunk in an egg or buttermilk, dredge in seasoned flour.
Obviously, you want the oil to be hot enough so that you get it lightly browned on the outside, but not so cool that it just absorbs all the grease and you have a greasy beaver.
And fry it until it's evenly browned.
Is that the right color?
Yeah, don't see any blood running out of it anywhere. You may have to salt it to taste. It's very lightly salted. Little chewy.
It's actually tender. It does need a little salt. The flavor is like, it's like beef to me. So, steaming, the color is, and it looks like, it really does look like beef or pork.
In between.
That's good. That's better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, good.
And I mean, I didn't think it was going to be bad, but it's better than I thought. Of all the unusual critters that I've had so far, I'm loving beaver. And coming up, I'm going gigging. Man, and never, ever in my life had I ever considered eating a sucker. Beaver, the other dark meat. That's good. That's better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, good.
And I mean, I didn't think it was going to be bad, but it's better than I thought. Of all the unusual critters that I've had so far, I'm loving beaver. There is more to Missouri than just beaver. They also gig suckers. Suckers are ugly fish that are bottom feeders, sucking the crap off rocks. Not exactly pretty, and definitely not what I would think of as table fare. Gigging is basically stabbing the fish at night as they're hanging on the bottom. And before I get to go out and gig, I need an expert to make sure I'm ready for the job. Meet Bill Ransdall. Among other things, he's a rancher, former state representative, and county commissioner. He also gigs suckers and plans on showing me how it's done. There's a bunch of others who will hang out on shore and get dinner. I'm telling you, they actually eat suckers. Technical difficulties, trying to get the lights going. Can't see the suckers if the lights don't work. Hello?
Got lights!
There it is. All it takes is a couple of electricians, right?
Now let's start gigging.
So believe it or not, we got the electrical problem fixed, and it's about time Bill starts showing me what to do here. And can I use the excuse that I don't have as much
Now,
light on
like
my
go
side?
down to that, see?
Uh-huh.
Pick you out something and try it a little bit.
So I'm told if you get too close to the boat, of course, then you're gonna end up jamming yourself. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you can't get under the front of the boat.
I'm gonna make a few rookie mistakes, you know that.
I understand that.
Okay.
That's no big deal. Right there's one. See it?
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Hold your gig parallel too, and that
I
way
got you.
we won't bump gigs. There's another one right out there at the edge of the light. Here, get that one. That's a good one.
That's two, not even close.
Clean your dip.
Uh-huh.
See it right there?
Uh-huh.
Oh, right in front of
close.
it. That's close.
Okay.
No. There's one. See him?
Yep. I've missed a few.
See him? See him?
I'm glad you do.
See right there?
Oh, sure. You're sitting at home thinking, it doesn't look that hard. The boat moves along, and you've only got a couple of seconds to make it happen. Oh,
You cut him.
You finished him. Man. All right. So
Cut him.
that was
You cut him twice. See, he was just a little high. See where you cut him twice?
log here.
You notice it. Yeah, here we got lots of suckers. Right.
It looks like it, doesn't
Right
it?
small. Get him. Go ahead and gig him. Got him. All right. All right, he's getting on it.
Bucket of fish.
Well,
The surprise is going to be if these things are actually edible.
of course they will be.
Because, like I said, I've eaten a lot of strange stuff, and never, ever in my life had I ever considered eating a sucker. But what's the next step?
We'll get out and dress some and put some in some hot grease and see how they are. We'll do the real test.
Want me to work? The big question, at least for me, is does a fried sucker taste like any other fried fish? This will be my first bite of sucker. They're bony bottom feeders with a reputation for, well, nobody I know eats them. Until tonight. I'm in the Ozarks of Missouri, the Show Me State, where they've shown me how to trap and eat beavers and gig for some nasty-looking sucker fish. And now it's time to see why on earth some of the nicest people I've ever met eat suckers. Showing me the proper way to process a sucker before frying is Sutton Medley.
So Sutton, how did you get stuck on this particular duty here?
Well, it's this is the ugly part of it, but it's an important part of it to get everything prepared and get everything going. And what we've got here, the biggest one we've got here is a red horse.
Right.
This one is a hog sucker, and this is the one when you were going over the top of it, looked kind of camouflaged.
Right.
And this is our bread and butter right here. This is the yellow sucker, and this is the one that's our staple. We have the most of these. This one is only found in streams that have really good water quality. If the water quality goes down, this fish goes away with it.
Cool.
All right, this is the scaler right here that we're going
that.
to use, and it's a pretty simple process, of course. Now the women folk don't like these scales. If these boys up here, they're old pros at eating these things, you just spit it out and go on.
Sure.
Yeah. Thing.
You're getting some on my shirt, you know that.
I apologize for that, but that's just the way it's
I
going to be today.
I shouldn't be standing here if I don't want to get scales on it.
You're a little close. That's all right. Now what we need to do is take that fillet knife and go ahead and cut the head off here.
All the way off?
All the way off. Okay, 4 long.
There's the guts.
Just a little bit closer together. There you go.
Okay,
now,
what's next?
this one's finished right now, so we'll just lay him aside.
We fillet the others, and then Matt's got this contraption that scores them much faster than a knife. And then I transport them to Adam's frying station.
Getting breaded really good.
All right,
Now our
into
fish
the
is
oil.
all coated. We're ready to go in the grease.
And eating those fins too has been one of my favorite parts, whether it's a crappie or I hadn't had sucker fin, but to me they taste kind of like potato chip when you're done.
Yeah,
with this
they
thing.
are.
All right, so this
Really
one's going to
good.
take a few minutes.
The storing and frying is supposed to dissolve most of the bones. Meanwhile, I'm going to get this over with.
Yes, you do.
You know, Adam, I've eaten a lot of stuff. This will be my first bite of sucker, and it tastes like fish. Anybody that thinks that this would taste like anything other than just another piece of fried fish is delicate, it's neutral, there's a little bone or two in there, but nothing you can't deal with. I don't know if this is going to change anybody's mind about whether they're going to keep suckers or throw them on the bank. But take it from me, I wouldn't tell you it's good if it's not good. And Adam, you've been eating this stuff for a long time, haven't you?
Long time.
Do you eat beaver?
I tried it up here the first time tonight.
What?
Yep, first
How
time
did
I
you
ever had
how
it.
did you avoid eating beaver all these years?
I've never been around anybody that ever cooked it.
Adam's talking about Matt's signature beaver tail soup. I was wondering what he did with the tail. You blacken it over an open flame, scrape off the burnt part, clean and chop up the meat, and after 15 minutes in a pressure cooker and several hours of simmering and vegetables and stock, it's ready to eat.
That's beaver tail.
That's beaver tail.
It could be any piece of meat, couldn't it?
It could be, but it's not.
It disintegrates. It tastes like that other beaver that we had, the backstrap. A little different, but I mean, it's been sitting there, but it's every bit as tender and tastes like pot roast. As I mentioned, not everything I eat on this show is really good, but the beaver, and I think I like the beaver more than the sucker. The sucker's good, but the beaver is exceptionally good. The beaver surprised me more than anything because I thought it would taste like muskrat, raccoon, nutria, whatever, but it's a sweeter flavor, it's a more neutral flavor, and it tastes more like beef.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Which part of the beaver did you like the best? I mean, we fried the
This
ham,
tail is,
and then this is the
good.
tail.
the tail's really good.
Yeah, I like it
The
too.
tail, I think, is a milder flavor, but of course it's been in there for a while. So it's taken on all that other flavor.
It's pressured.
I think I like the tail. I know, what's the part I don't want to eat?
The casters.
The casters. Don't eat the casters. Time for the feeding frenzy. Cornbread, fried frog legs and potatoes, Bill's beans, and plenty of sucker fillets. Here's some fish and frog legs for you.
All right.
You get the combo
Frog leg
platter.
and a sucker. That's exactly what I needed.
You all use spoons here? You guys know how to have a good time here, don't you?
We know how to have a good time.
I must say, I've met some good people across the country, but these are some of the best. Give them a minute or two to get to know you, and they'll give you the shirt off their backs. And a bowl full of beaver tail soup. And maybe some fried suckers. Do you think we're going to change anybody's mind about eating suckers?
I don't know if they.
You don't care, do you?
No, not really.
They don't know. They don't know what they're missing.
Mm-hmm.